Oh, so dumb. That was the worst thing that could probably happen. Right before paint. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 30 of the BMW M Coupe project. And today, and within this episode, we are gonna paint. It's been a pretty long couple of weeks, or a pretty long process to say the least, but the car is currently covered. I went ahead and already got the glass removed. So now, first things first, I'm gonna remove the cover. How's that feel? Oh, ow. Yeah, I'm okay. Before I get into today's episode, I do want to thank my friend Oscar, who's the owner of the body shop that I'm currently at called ODA Auto Works. They are the guys to go to for all your auto collision needs, and they're the guys who are gracious enough to give me a little spot for me to work on my car here. So I'm going to put on screen right now, you're going to see basically the rear quarter glass and the rear windshield glass. We had to remove the glass to actually get the paint to go seated all the way in so that we can cover the whole entire area. That can also prevent it from chipping as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get to actually record the part of removing the glass, but if anyone is ever curious how it looks underneath, this is how it looks. But with that being said, what's left for me to do is to basically do all the final touch-ups in regards to wet sanding, all the little corners and stuff like that, and pretty much preparing the car to be painted. Also, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would help the channel out tremendously, and I would really appreciate it. I'm also not too sure what videos I would make after the car is complete, whether if it is my opinion or my experience, or maybe a build breakdown or stuff like that. If you guys could give me any ideas, or maybe if you guys are more curious about my personal life, I would definitely love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. I also wanted to note too, I literally just finished reading the whole entire Bible 3 days ago, and I'm super happy and super stoked on that. Just wanted to put that out there as a little milestone that I also completed on top of reaching 900 subscribers as well. I'm starting to see the finish line of a lot of the things that I have set, such as reading the entire Bible, repainting the whole car, and amongst other things too. So with that being said, enough yapping, I'm pretty much gonna start getting into this. So let's go ahead and get started. I basically just finished doing all the little minor touch-ups on all the edges and stuff like that, so that's pretty much done and ready to go. What's next is for me to remove the trunk. I removed the clip on it, and I don't know why I didn't remove the clip when it was fully extended, but I removed the clip and it popped out, so I don't know what's gonna happen right now, but hopefully when I lift it, it does not shoot out. That's not good. That is not good. I have a feeling that this is gonna shoot out at me. Okay, one of it is out. That's really bad on my part. Oh, shit. I totally dented my freaking trunk. Oh, frick. I messed up. I thought I had enough room to clear the whole trunk to open here, which clearly wasn't the case. This is probably the worst thing that could probably happen right now. Dude, you're joking me. Well, that kind of sucks. Oh my gosh, man, dude. Oh, I'm so dumb. Note to self, this is what happens when you try to basically rush things. So guys, learn from my mistake. Don't rush things. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out. I'm very bummed out. Dang, man. I can't believe I freaking dented my freaking trunk, man. Oh my gosh, I feel so stupid, bro. I'm so dumb. Oh my gosh. I guess the bright side is the mid-wing is gonna cover the dent. So in regards to actually, fixing it and doing all that work, I guess it's not necessary, but frick, dude. Oh my gosh. That was the worst thing that could probably happen. Right before paint, I got a fat dent on the freaking car, man. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go put myself in timeout, and I'm gonna go reflect on my mistakes. I'm gonna clap now. It's gonna fast forward to the next day. All right, guys, it is the next day, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the start of this week has been kicking my butt. You know what happened with yesterday and this morning, I literally woke up an hour and a half later than I normally would, which caused me to go to the gym later, and then which basically eliminated the time that I had that I usually dedicate to just read the Bible in the morning. And man, on top of that, dude, this is like my 10th take trying to film this and say this part. Oh my gosh, bro, like, I feel like I'm so close to the finish line, but I'm like moving a little too quick, and it's getting to a point where it's like, I'm making mistakes and this and that, and but it's okay, we will persevere, you know what I'm saying? Now, what I have left to do today is pretty much to remove the trunk along with the front hood. I think it should just be a couple volts and just removing wires. It should be relatively easy, so I'm really hoping today goes smoothly. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start off with the front hood, so let's move over there. All right, so as you can see, I have my front hood that's open over here. I believe I am going to guess how to remove this. So remember when I said I hope this should be a relatively easy day? I really hope that stays true, but what I see right now is basically 2 bolts and along with the strut. Once those are off, in theory, the hood should come off. I'm gonna start by removing the strut first. Ow. All right, so I'm basically gonna remove the little clips over here. I just get a prying tool and just pry it off. So just pry off the top piece and then the bottom piece. Next, I'm also gonna remove the windshield wipers. So the windshield wipers are a 16mm bolt. So let me go ahead and remove those too. All right, so guys, when you are removing the hood, you gotta make sure you remove the ground that is on top of the hood. On top of that, the windshield wipers, once I got that removed, I essentially got a pry bar and a hammer and just kind of pried it and hammered it. So that came out. Afterwards, I was kind of looking at this and I feel like I might paint. I'm not too sure how far in we're gonna go, but honestly, if I'm gonna paint it, I might as well take this part off too. So let's go ahead and get these off and then the front should be done. Or I need to go to the other side, do that other side, and then the front should be done. And then we can go into the rear. All right, so the front end now completely disassembled. Now that's done, now it's time to move on to the rear hatch. Shout out to Oscar, giving me that play a vibe. Yeah, something I should have done was remove the struts last. I need to figure out how I'm gonna remove the wiring. All right guys, so basically if you look over here on the bottom side over here, there's two covers over here that you basically just pry off and then that reveals two bolts. I don't know what size they are yet, but that seems like that's how you pretty much remove the hatch from the brackets. Before you do that, you actually need to remove all the wiring, such as, you know, like this thing and then all the stuff over here. So I need to figure out how I'm going to remove all of that. All right guys, if you're gonna do this yourself, I would really recommend taking off the hood struts last, just so you don't have to hold it up. Just a thought. All right guys, so game plan right now is to pretty much figure out the mid-wing situation. I am probably gonna do panel bond and then put it on and then paint it afterwards. So I think that's the game plan. So I'm gonna go get panel bond. I'll be right back. All right guys, so I pretty much put self-etching primer on areas that had raw or exposed metal just so it wouldn't rust. Anyways, as you can see, this is how it looks right now. I just came back from getting the panel bond and now I'm gonna scuff up the area where we're gonna put on panel bond and I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, so as you can see, we put on the mid-wing over here. So now all that's left for me to do is pretty much just wait for this to dry and harden and then call it a day. I'll just fast forward to whatever I do. All right guys, it is now the next day and as you can see the mid-wing over here, the adhesive that we put onto the mid-wing has finished curing and now it is pretty solid if you ask me. It is stuck on there. But today we're gonna work on the front bumper and as you can see, I have my little helper over here. Her name is Suhei. You wanna say hi to the camera? You see yourself? You can wave at the camera. But anyways, today we're gonna be working on the front bumper and the plan is to adhere the front lip to the bumper. And after we put on the panel bond, essentially what we're gonna do is wait for that to cure. And after we put on the seam sealer, we'll paint over it. So it looks like it's just one contingent line versus just like a empty gap or something that as if it was taped on and stuff like that. So it should look a lot cleaner. Let's go ahead and get started on the front bumper today. All right, so as you can see, lips are now done. We added the panel bond. We're gonna let that dry. And tomorrow we are gonna caulk the front lip area and along with the rear mid-wing. So I'm gonna clap now, it's gonna fast forward to the next day. All right guys, so it is the next day and as you can see, I have removed all the tape from the lip and I guess for some reason, I think the passenger side lip is, the fitment is not as good as the other side. The other side, the driver's side fit absolutely phenomenal. I'm not too sure why the passenger side is a little small gap. I'm putting on the screen right now. There's a little small gap over here in regards to the fitment. A little weird, but anyways, it is now pretty solid on there. And what's next for me to do is remove the excess panel bond, which I'm gonna be using 400 grit to be removed. And after that's done, we're gonna caulk it, let that dry, and then I believe should be painted. So we're gonna get started. All right, next step is to caulk it or add caulk to the edge. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do that really quick. All right, so I just got finished putting on the seam sealer, and well, in regards to putting it on, I would say that using my thumb was probably the best approach in regards to actually being able to squeeze it in and to remove all the air bubbles. But if I were to do this again, I probably would have masked it. I honestly should have added tape, so I would have saved myself a lot of trouble. Instead, once it's dries, I need to sand it again and sand off all the excess seam sealer that was on the body, or where there's basically overspread. Had I put tape over it, I did not need to do that, and it probably would have been a cleaner line. So complete mistake on my end. I freaking lazy. But anyways, this is now done. Do I regret not doing that? A little bit. Honestly, using my thumb to press it, I think it looks okay. We're gonna see how it looks once it actually like dries and hardens. So that was pretty fun. I probably got like 10 shades darker just from standing in the sun. But anyways, this is pretty much done for the day. I'm gonna let this dry. I think it's time to take a rest or take a break and then continue the next day. So I'm gonna clap now, it's gonna fast forward to the next day. All right guys, it is the next day, and as you can see behind me, I have over here my front bumper. What's left for me to do is to wet sand it with 400 grit. So I'm gonna do that for my front lip area along with my mid-wing area. And in regards to today, the plan is to basically wet sand the seam sealer and do like a basic like QC or quality check on all the parts before we actually paint it. Whether we get to paint it or not today, that's entirely up to God. But man, the finish line is so close, guys. The finish line, I can literally see it. I've been trying to go to the gym too, and I have not been able to be consistent too, but I'm literally dragging myself trying to get to the finish line. I'm so, I can literally taste it. Anyways, that's enough talking. Let's go ahead and do sanding. All right, so the front bumper is now done for the time being. Now it's time to move on to the rear. There's a bunch of seam sealer everywhere. I didn't wipe it properly. I'm gonna have to sand the heck out of it. Go ahead and get working on that. All right, man. So I think I'm done pretty much sanding off all the seam sealer, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it definitely took a lot longer than I thought it would. And it is currently almost close to 2 p.m. and honestly, it's almost time for me to go home, and obviously I don't think we're gonna get to paint it today. Anyways, this is pretty much done. With that being said, I'm gonna have Oscar check over my work, see and critique it if there's anything I need to redo or undo, or if it's perfectly fine to paint. So see how it goes. See you guys in a bit. All right guys, so as you can see, the car over here is done for the most part, I think. I'm not too sure if that's gonna be ready for paint or not, but I basically spent some time doing the final inspection on the parts over here. So these are my side skirts, front fenders, gas cap, and license plate holder. Those are pretty much done for paint, and I'm gonna try to enjoy my weekend and resume this on Monday. So I'm gonna clap now. It's gonna fast forward to the next Monday. Today's Friday, so it's gonna fast forward to Monday. All right, so it is the following Monday, and as you guys can see, I have my door over here. This is my passenger side door. I'm gonna do a final check over to make sure it is ready and good to go for paint. Same thing goes for the driver's side door. After that's done, I'm gonna do the hood and pretty much look over the car, and I think that should be paint. But that's only if we have enough time for today. So let's go ahead and wet it, clean it up, and see if I'm missing anything. So. All right, so finished doing a double check on the door. I also cleaned off all the overspray that I had originally on the inside of the door and the bottom. So cleaned that off with all thinner. As you can see over here, now it's all black and my original black paint instead of overspray. So that's all cleaned up. This is pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna put this away, move on to the next panel, and get started. All right, now I have the driver's side door. As you can see, I have a bunch of overspray over here that I need to clean up, along with the bottom part over here. So I'm gonna get started on that. All right, so it seems like both the doors done, out the way. Hood I already did the other day, and no, I guess I'm just waiting for paint. All right, so now we're gonna spray on primer in the rear. It's time for me to mask up the area and then send it in to get primered again. Obviously there's bits that need to get primered, so let's go ahead and start masking. Oh, it is so bright. Okay guys, so we sprayed on the primer, but As you can see, there's a little dent, or not dent, but little divot over here. Maybe because when I was removing the silicone, I did it with my hand. Super why it's important you actually, use a little pad behind it. So I was just using my finger, and clearly there's a little dent on it. I'm gonna put on screen right now. Now I gotta block the car and then wet sand it. So let's go ahead and get started on that. All right, so as you can see, finished wet sanding the rear end over here. Now, what's next is for us to actually start painting a few parts. So now, let's just fast forward to paint me. All right guys, so we are moving on to paint, and today we are going to be painting the front and rear bumper. I basically did a little scuff around before we actually clean it off. I'm gonna do a final cleanup and then we're gonna get spraying. You guys are gonna see the color in a little bit, so let me go ahead and wipe these down and we can get spraying. Heck yeah.
Can you do it in the video on YouTube? I can see myself on YouTube.
Yeah, come say hi. Look at the camera and say hi.
Hi.
I'm gonna put that in there, okay?
Okay.
So that you can see it.
Okay.
All right guys, so we sprayed on the sealer on the bumpers and we noticed there was a little pinhole on the front lip. Obviously, with the pinhole, we're not gonna spray on paint, and I think that was just negligence on my end. But that being said, I need to put on putty and kind of scuff it and sand it. So after the putty's put on, then we should be able to paint it. Man, I'm so close, so close. But anyways, I'm gonna clap now. It's gonna fast forward to the next day. All right guys, it is now the next day, and I came in early today around 10. I'm not gonna be painting until maybe like 4, but I wanted to put on the putty and I was gonna sand it later on throughout the day. I just want to show you guys what was happening. Basically, there was the little pinhole over here. I'm gonna put on a screen right now that you'll see. So this, we basically put on putty and you can see right here. So I'm gonna have to wait for that to dry and then I'm gonna sand that. Once that's done, that should be ready for paint. Shout out to Steve, thank you for helping me out in regards to this situation. Anyways, now I'm gonna fast forward to until it's like 4 p.m. All right guys, so it is currently 3 p.m. and as you can see over here, I have my front bumper. This part, the putty part over here, as you can see right here, it is all dried up, and now it's time for me to use 400 grit sandpaper to sand it dry. There's also a little bit over here I will show you guys. Anyways, there's a little line right here that I missed. This is essentially the silicone. That is essentially the silicone that we put on as a seam sealer. That is still on there, and I pretty much need to sand that off too, because if we paint over it, you're literally gonna see a line. So I'm gonna go ahead and get sanding. Let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, I am incredibly stoked right now, dude. We just laid down the paint on the front and rear bumper. Obviously, I'm gonna show you guys how it looks because I told you in the beginning of this video, I'm gonna paint. So I'm so stoked right now, bro. I'm so stoked right now. Anyways, I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like and I'll meet you guys there. All right guys, it is the next day. Now I'm gonna capture my reaction, or my candid reaction to seeing holy, that looks really good. I'm super stoked on this. Dang, oh my goodness. All right, I am incredibly stoked. That looks pretty dang good if you ask me. Dang, dude, the paint looks, it looks wet. I'm super stoked on that, dude. Holy crap. Dude, dang, oh my gosh. All right, 2 panels down, a bunch more to go. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.